So today we're looking at something else than Warhammer. So I got a few boxes of the Dark Soul board game, and right now what we got it's the expansion for the character expansion for the board game. I got the board game, I got the Phantom expansion too, and two others, but I really wanted to cover the character expansion first because the primary thing I want to check is the miniatures, right? I don't want to review the board game itself. The board game seems pretty decent, but like I said in the video about Space Hulk, what I focus the most is, do the miniatures interest me? And if the board game seems interesting at the same time. And Dark Souls fill up those criteria. So right now what I want to do is open this brand new kit and look at each miniature individually. So we'll open this first. Let's see. Let's see what we got. And there we go. Oh. I'll get it. There we go. And there, let's look at this. The light's a bit too bright though. Let's close that. There we go. So of course we got Leo's little booklet that explain the characters and whatnot. So yeah, cool, but not useful right now. That's not what we want to look at. There we go. Those are the board for the players. We'll put that to the side. And here are the miniatures that I'm looking at. There we go. There. Put that to the side. There we go. So let's see first which miniature we're going to look at. Let's look at the Depraved. So this is our first model. This is the Depraved, one of the first character you can choose in Dark Souls, right? Everybody knows that one. You got the club and the playing shield. The quality of the miniature doesn't seem so great, but at the same time it's not that bad, right? It's pretty decent. It's a lot smaller than a Warhammer miniature. So when we look at this, if I compare a Primaris, there's a big difference, right? Can see it's almost 1/4 of the size. And if I look at the Tau, just a basic model of the Tau, still really a lot smaller. So I do admit the idea of painting Dark Soul characters is really interesting, but it is extremely small. So I'll need to be really careful while painting those. But it's pretty cool. There is a lot of detail in the muscles, so that's gonna pop with a bit of shader, or a bit of wash. That wood plank too got a few details, so that's not bad. That's actually really not bad. Second one we'll check is the Thief. The one that starts with the key. So armor plate looks not bad when you look at it. There's a bit of chainmail, just like the skirt, and we got a bit of chainmail over his arm. The arm shape looks fine. We got the I forgot the name to all the arrows, the quiver. So we got a quiver. It's not that bad. We got some straps around that hood. Looks like straps. Oop, sorry about that. Looks like he got straps. So yeah, we got a quiver. So it's not that bad. We still got plenty of detail if we want to do something. But it's really, really basic. I need to clean that mold line right there. So I believe we can do something pretty cool. The eyes are really, really small. So if I do those, I'll need to make sure that it's barely a drop of paint in there, or the eyes will look like big frogs there. The weapon's a bit curvy, so it's not completely straight. So if I put my finger behind it, see how curvy it is? So yeah, I paid $10 for this. I know they can be sold between $40 and $60, if I believe, and I was able to win a bet online, and I got those for cheap, right? For free, basically. So yeah. So the thief is not so bad. We got a bit of detail, but when you look at this and you look at the armor plate, yeah, there's some detail, but it's not that obvious. That's going to be extremely hard to highlight because there is no definition. I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's really just a mess of little bumps. So it's not great. So it's going to be hard to do a good job on this. But it's still not bad. It's still something that we can do and do something pretty decent. But like I said, they're so tiny, it's going to be hard to make some details pop without really making a lot of highlights, right? So if I do a highlight, it's going to be huge. So when you look at it close, it's going to look really ugly. But from far away, it's going to look pretty great. So yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's the cleric. Well, it looks like the cleric. Yep. So we got the shield, wooden shield. Can you, there we go. So we got a wooden shield. I thought those were like diamond plates, but I guess not. Actually, maybe I'll put the shield white and those diamond blue with a red around it, right? Some kind of, I don't know, Templar color scheme. We got a robe. We got again the weapon that is bent. So it's kind of sad. I can try to bring it back, but I don't think without heating it. It's not that bad. There's great details in the cape. The shell on the back is the same. Well detailed. We got this drape that goes across. Really beautiful. And we got a pouch hidden right under the elbow right there. Between the shield and the elbow. It's not bad. The face itself, let's see if I can actually focus on the face itself. Can we focus on it? I want to show the detail of the face. I won't be able. Camera's not good enough for that close. Let's see what I can do. We can't even see it. There we go. That's the best I can do. I'm sorry about that. So the face itself, it's not that bad. It looks neat. But the nose is basically just a little bump of plastic. If we look at it sideways. So we don't have many like facial distinction in them. So yeah. It's not that I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. I'm actually really happy. They look great. They're amazing. But I believe some of them looks better than the others. So let's say I grab the Havel armor. Well, Havel doesn't have a face. He got the helmet on. So this simplifies a lot, and the Havel is really big. So all those details going to be amazing in a, let's say, a black base with a lot of iron and a dark silver, and then really wash it over with a black wash, and then just highlight just a bit all those top of recess. That armor is gonna stick out so much. It's gonna be so beautiful, right? This armor is so well done. But the thing is this, he's bigger. He's actually way bigger than the others when we look at it. And just that little extra size will make it so easier to work on. So some of them are going to be easier to work on and do a really beautiful job compared to others. And the way I see it, those with a face without an helmet are going to be harder to work with. But what I want, I can only do so much. I'll still try to paint them. So we got the Pyromancer. Not so bad. Good position. I actually really like this. The straight standing. I'll need to clean that leg because I believe this is supposed to be a dagger on the side of his leg, and right now nearly 1/3 of the dagger is actually a mold line. So yeah, we'll need to clean this. Got that belt. That belt is really tiny. Little brass centerpiece. Do you... No? Focus? No? Don't want to? I don't know if it's the color. I'll try again opening the light. Let's lift it up. Okay, not so bad. Okay, maybe like this. So you see this one is not that bad. Pyromancer. Beautiful fur coat on the top. That's going to be amazing to do. The face got a bit more details than the cleric. So that's going to help. It's going to be great. When we spin it around, we see the shield. We got a cape in the back. It's not so bad. A pouch right there. So it's not that bad because there's a bit of detail, but nothing too much, right? The shield itself is wooden. There seems to be a ring of metal all around it. Pretty simple. A cape, fur. We just cover with a brown. Again, a wash. Quickly some highlights, and you're pretty good to go. That little pouch is not that bad either. The pants are fine. Maybe the chain for the little dagger and the dagger itself is going to be harder. And maybe that little... I'm not even sure if it's a belt, but anyways, that chain or belt that goes around, we got those middle circle inside of it. That's going to be hard to paint. So maybe I'll just keep it in one color. We'll see, and just do the highlight on the middle part if I can. So Pyromancer is not that bad. Not too much in the way. The shield is not in the way, so basically we got enough space to really do a good job. But when we get back to the cleric, where the shield is literally just against her, up. Well, every time I try to zoom on the cleric, it doesn't work. There we go. So you see how the cleric got her shield straight against her chest. It's a nice position to a fight, but I mean, it's going to be hard to paint, right? Getting inside those little recesses is going to be hard. And don't forget the Depraved that actually got it straight on him, so I don't need to paint behind it because it's literally part of his chest. Not in reality of the game, but in the way they made the mold. So anyways, what's the other one? We're gonna do the sorcerer. Sorcerer got nice long coat. Face is really deep inside of that hood. So I could see doing for a darker face. That could be something. The details, again, the nose is really standing out in this one. Looks like a Pinocchio compared to the others. Wonder if I can zoom on that one too. I don't know if you can see that nose. It's really sticking out. compared to the others. So it's actually not bad. Of course, it looks ridiculous, but at the same time, when you got something so tiny, that nose is gonna pop out with the colors, so that's gonna be cool. Inside of the pants, fine, long coat. You got like a long shirt behind it, and that red scarf, or whatever color you want that scarf. The back is really naked, just the shield itself with the cape. And yeah, it's more basic than the others. I feel that he's less entertaining, but at the same time, if I was able to get a really tiny brush and do those little clips for his main shirt with a gold, maybe you do that shirt in a dark blue, really like a royal blue. That could be really nice, but yeah, it's gonna be really tricky. It's really small when you compare it to my thumb. It's miniature. So the last one, what is this? I think that's supposed to be the Mercenary. So this Mercenary is not the double sword or the cell sword from the game, but he's in movement. That's actually pretty neat. Like he's striking, but the sword again is all bended. It's not that bad. For a board game, it goes, right? But for somebody that paints, it's not that great. The arms seems undead, but when I look at the face looks more human. So I'm not sure the arm and the face doesn't match right now, but it's okay again. It's just you start thinking about those things when you start painting, right? Because if he's undead, you're not gonna use the same color scheme than the face. So, and there seems to be a crack right above. See it? So this one is cracked, or it's the way they connect it. So I believe the chest and the scarf with the head comes and connect from the top, and they glue them together. I think. I'm not sure. There is a mold line that goes across here and a mold line here. So if I follow that mold line up to there, this one doesn't match. So I'm pretty sure those are two parts glued together. But it's okay. So long coat seems to be a metal piece of armor for the chest. Yeah, beside that, not much. The long shield, the scarf with the cape. Yeah, decent model. One thing I like about it, not too much detail, so it's gonna be easier to really make it pop out. Maybe like a more sand color scarf with a good old metal piece of armor. Not too sure for the long coat, but yeah, we could do something pretty cool with that one. So what we're gonna do next, we did Havel. Should we start with the gold trimmed black robes? That's a gold trimmed black robes, right? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, so that's the block rim, the gold trim black robe. Sorry, having difficulty talking. It's one of the suit, well, one of the armor set that you can get. Yeah, it's kind of cool, but what I hate about that armor set, if I remember in game, it's all black. Basically, the whole thing is black, and you got white highlights around it, and that's pretty much what it is for the whole design. And I don't remember if the belt is actually gold or more like a really dark copper in color. So it's not the best one. I don't think it's gonna look that great. It's gonna be cool, but not as cool as the other. Pretty sure Havel is gonna be one of the, well, the one that is more fun to paint and rewarding for what you do. There is no face whatsoever, so you basically have to keep it black. So that's like a black spray or a black base, and then you highlight whatever sticks out, or you dry brush it with a bit of gray or white. And that's it. You're pretty much done. After that, you either do that fireball and the belt if you really want to make it pop out, but beside that, there's nothing. It's boring. I feel it's boring. Some people may disagree with me, but I feel this model is really boring right now. The Onion Knight, or the Knight of Katarina. So this one is pretty cool. So what I'll do for that one, either I use a rift bone, color of bone, or a white that will use a wash that is kind of yellowish, because I want to pull that onion color, right? And that's what makes this armor stick out so much. It is so cool for that. So that's going to be a really fun armor to paint. It can be really tricky at the same time. We got a few pouch here and there in the back. It's going to be nice. I never realized there's actually some kind of design behind his neck. So that'll be cool. So I'm not sure if I'm going to paint it by memory or actually I'm going to pop one of the pictures of the game, or actually play the game and take a screenshot and actually try to mimic this one. But this one, just like Havel, they're a bit bigger. The armor set is large. The detail are well divided. So that's going to be another one that's going to be really cool to paint and make it really unique. Well, unique in a way. I really want to mimic what Dark Souls is presenting us, because I believe it's really authentic to the game. So anyway, again, the sword is kind of crooked. Oh, can we focus again? There we go. So yeah, the sword is crooked, but we have to get used to it by now that they're all like that. I think that's the giant. Was that the golden giant armor? What was the name again of that one? Give me a second there. I'm gonna remember. What was the guardian armor? Yeah, sorry, I said golden. So yeah, that's the guardian armor. So big chest piece in metal with the helmet matching. There he got no pants, so he basically got that kind of skirt that we'll need to paint. There is a bit of metal, but the whole thing seems to be wrapped, so I'll need to check back again just to make sure, because sometimes the texture of the miniature doesn't look so that great. We got a huge mold line right there and following the whole weapon all around it. And we got that beautiful axe. There's like a tree branch with the roots around that rock that make the axe or the hammer. So that's going to be a really nice one to do. But at the same time, there is something that bothers me. The helmet. The helmet is completely tiny. That's going to be tricky really to make it look like an helmet. There is no... Not there is no nose or anything at all. The helmet is made like that. But what I mean is, how will I highlight this when it's so tiny? Right? There is nothing really to highlight. There is not enough detail. Most of those details are like, there is no recess whatsoever. They're little bumps. So if I paint that, there's a big chance it's going to be just a thick layer over top, even if I thin my paint. So that's not too cool. So I'll have to be really careful with that head and figure out a way to make those details pop. So yeah. But beside that, cool model in general. Tall guy. Now we got the Embrace armor. The beautiful trader. It is wonderful. And why they called it the Embraced armor? It's Embrace armor of favor, if I remember. It's because if we look carefully from the bottom right there, and it goes across and go up, it's actually an arm. And there's another arm starting there, so the elbow is there. We go down, and it finish under the arm on the other side. So it's basically like two arm embracing the chest piece. So that's pretty cool. And what I like about this model compared to the others, this one is really a bright gold. So I will not use like the Balthazar gold that is more like a copper. I really use like Retribution armor or a paint that is really more yellowish gold. And that's going to be great. And the all armor is under that paint scheme. So that's going to be cool. The two weapons looks really nice. Even if they're bent a bit, the fact they're so like crooked and twisted naturally kind of trick the eye believing they're made like this. So that one is going to be really, really nice to paint. Not too much detail, just enough. A lot of high detail points. So the ridges are really high. Oop. Let's try to... Oop. So the ridges are really high. So that's going to help out to make those details pop. So that one is going to be really nice to do. Really easy to do. Is it a Wraith or a Dark Armor? I try to remember. It's Wraith or a Dark Armor, I'm not too sure. So when you look at it, it's those in the game, it's those black armor with the silver or gray highlight. So it's basically the same as the gold trim robe. Oop. So nearly the same type of paint scheme, but the only difference, this one is made of metal. So you'll go more for a shining silver instead of a maybe gray for the highlights. Long black hair, skull face. So it's cool, looks pretty cool. The only thing I'm not sure is the long black hair with the black suit, even with the highlights and etc. It may looks a bit ugly. So it's gonna be different. But the good part is all the recesses are really deep. So it's gonna be kinda easier to do those highlights. So it will look pretty great. But still again, it's just a black prime with a bit of silver and gray maybe for the hair, and you highlight with that. That's it. That's the whole job. After that, you put maybe just a bit of silver on that sword. So basically, you're using 2-3 colors, and that's it. So that time, it's not that fun to paint, right? You always want something more challenging or something really that sticks out on the map. Now I'm trying to remember him. Is it the Adventurer? Was it Pyromancer? No, that was the Adventurer. Remember him in the sewers. You see what this? That's a crystal sword. And he has the crystal shield. So what's cool about that? It's because his shield is going to be made of wood with maybe a silver trim for the metal around it. But those crystals are like a really bright white blue, like a baby blue color mixed with some white. So that's going to be really great. Maybe do the bottom part really dark, and then after that go towards the outside with a white and a lightish blue. So that's going to be really cool. Same thing with the sword. So just those two things to practice it is going to be great. The back is overburdened. So when I say I don't like a miniature with too much details, this is what it looks like. You're not sure what you're looking at. So you're not even sure what is what, or are they all painted the same color? So what happened if you painted all the same color? It just looks like a big jumble of paint in the back. But if you start dividing them when you look at it, you're not too sure what you're looking at, beside dots, random dots. So I don't like that back. That back is kind of bothering me. The front is fine, but then again, we land again with all those dots. So it looks like a tabar with a bit of gold or silver. But at the same time, the pattern is not really straight, so it's not that obvious when you look at it. So, could be a tricky one to paint. Could look great, but I'll admit something. It's not the model that I like the most in Dark Souls. And the character was just meh. so interesting. So I'm not that much interested into him, beside the fact that I really like those shield and sword, and I'd be really curious to know if I'm able to paint this the same color. So that's gonna be cool to test. But the rest of the armor is meh, it's okay. So we're gonna go for a really nice one. So the Black Knights. Anyone that plays Dark Souls knows who the Black Knights are. Extremely strong soldiers of Lord Gwyn. So again, it's a Black Knight. But the thing is this, I don't have to make it all black. I could put him silver, right? I could change a bit of the color, since in the game we got those different type. The shield is really, really nice. The only thing I'm still wondering is, will I be able to highlight without filling those recesses? And it's kind of scary, because it's really, really, really tiny. Beside that, the model is really tall, so it's kind of big. The nice part is, when you look at the helmet, the eyes are pretty deep. Same thing at the level of the nose. So that's going to be easy, really easy to highlight. So that's fun. That's really fun. So the helmet is really going to pop. So that's kind of cool. Beside that, the sword, actually the sword looks somewhat straight, not so bad. The shield, like I said, one of my favorite of the game, but just hope it's not too small. I really hope I could do something really cool with this. But yeah, armor itself with the ridge, that's not bad. But then again, we get details on the top, and I'm not sure if the paint will be thin enough to do a good job on it. It looks amazing. So sometimes I wonder if I should just paint it black and just do a dry brush with a gray and a silver, and that's it. And keep it as such and not touch it anymore if I keep it black, right? Like that, you'll just save a lot of detail, and you just go with a brush and do a few details that you really, really want. But beside that, you have to be careful not to put too much paint. So the black iron armor, it's pretty cool. Long sword. It's supposed to be a two-handed, but I guess, is it a two-handed? They just carry one-handed. Anyways. So the handle's a bit curved, but that's not bad. It's not the end of the world. The shield is really basic. Not that much detail. Kind of cool they made all those around it, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe do like a zenithal, like a black with some kind of silver to the side, at least to give it a bit of shine. Something different, like a highlight maybe in one top of the corner or something, just to add a little distraction in it, because it's kind of plain. The armor, same thing, really basic armor, really easy to do. Love those deep scratches on top of his armor. I'm not sure if this is cracked, but there's a few lines in the robe, but I don't know if you can see that. There's a few lines right in front, right there. See it? It's kind of weird. But anyways, armor is basic. The helmet's kind of nice, deep enough again to highlight this easily. The back of the armor is the same. We got those beautiful scars and scratches in the back, so that's gonna be nice to do. But beside that, this model is really more basic. So if you'd have to start with one of them to practice, I would start with this one. Not too much detail, just enough. Nothing too tiny, nothing too deep, nothing too light at the same time. And you got a beautiful piece of armor, metal armor. You got a bit of robe. Again, armor, shoulder pad, the gloves, nice sword, handle, helmet is there, and you got the shield. So yeah, so that's gonna be an easy one to do and to start with. So maybe I'll start with that one. So yeah, maybe the black iron is gonna be the first one I'll try, just to practice with this size that is so tiny. And finally, the crimson robe with at the beak. We can actually see the beak of the mask popping through the hood. Looks kind of weird though, as if the usually we can kind of see the corner of the eyes, but yeah, it's not that bad. Is that supposed to be a bow? Not sure if it's staff or a bow, to be honest with you guys. I'm really not sure. That's so weird. I guess it's supposed to be a bow, and at the same time, when you look at the at all the mold line, looks like if the cord of the arc is there, so you need to bow it like this. Anyways, so yeah, that was a nice one. Actually, a dark red, like a wine in color, like a red wine color, black wash over it. Just that will already make like 50% of the model. So basically, what you can do again, black base, a bit of red. You can go for a lightish red, less dark. So what happened? That black's gonna bleed through it, and it will make it feel like really rugged, or maybe a red wash over it, or really dark red wash would do the job. So it's not that bad. A lot of detail again. We got that little belt, little teeth or hooks or claws around the neck. Really, really tiny, but beside that, there's not that much detail beside that. So a good dry brush will do the job on that. It's going to be really easy. So maybe a little warning, just in case some people really like me, well, we collect a lot of miniature or we do a lot of jobs. And for the Dark Soul, I know some people are doing some 3D print. So the only way to really make sure that you got a real one, it will say in the back, Dark Soul, the board game. And you'll get that circle that goes around, but it is not closed on top. So yeah, if you find that, that is an original model for Dark Soul. So yeah, so I hope you guys kind of enjoyed that. I got the Phantoms that I'm gonna do next, and really that was just to cover all the miniature to look at them. So if somebody wants to get them just to paint them and not play the board game, and you're really just interested to paint your own Dark Soul characters, I hope this helped you out, guys, to see which one is really interesting, or if the old box is interesting you, or just a few of them. Like for me, really the Havel, the Katarina's armor are really interesting. Like there's maybe 6 of them, to be honest, that are really interesting for me. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna paint the other ones, but I'll think twice before starting painting them, because I know I don't have the skills or the paintbrush to do those mini details that are way smaller, like I said, than an original like 40k character. So if I take my orc, again, just for another distinction in between, we got those tiny human beside it. It's really small, right? So just keep that in mind if you go for it, or if you want to buy one specific. I'm pretty sure you can find maybe specific models on eBay or something like that. I wouldn't say pay the $60, even though when you think about it, 40k sells, like Games Workshop sells a box of 10 for like $40-50, and right now you got those, there's like 12, there's like what, 16? Is that 16? Am I going crazy? 6, 12. Yep. So there's 16 models in that one. So it's a lot of model, but they're not made to be painted only, right? They were made to play on a board game. So the way they were thinking when they made them was to have cool miniatures and play on the board. It wasn't for the hobby of painting in mind at the same time, compared to Games Workshop and his way of doing. So yeah, so on this, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Like I said, I will do a review of the miniatures of the Ghost pack or the Ghost expansion uh, next week or the week after I release this video, anyways. And from there, we'll move on. And by the time I think I'll do the second expansion, maybe I'll do a quick overview of the board game itself. But right now, what I'm really planning on showing you guys are really the miniature to see if they are good enough to attract you to either the board game or for the hobby of painting. So on this, I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you around.